All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating blueprint, literally the exact steps to hitting $10,000 a month by completely rethinking how we learn and earn. If you've ever felt like the traditional path, going to school, getting a degree, climbing that corporate ladder, if you've ever felt like that's somehow rigged or just falling way short of your financial goals, trust me, you're not alone. We're going to look at the raw data, the psychological shifts, and the specific frameworks you need to become a serious high earner. To kick things off, we've got to ask a question that pretty much challenges everything the traditional school system has ever taught us about financial success. Seriously, why do straight-A students so often end up earning less than the kids who were, well, disruptive or who struggled in a classic classroom? We've been completely programmed to believe that good grades directly equal a high income. But, as you'll soon see, the real-world data paints a completely different picture. Consider the stark contrast between two very different paths here. Take Joey. Joey got straight A's, graduated top of his class, and followed all the rules to a T. And his reward? A job paying just under $5,500 a month, a mountain of student debt, and this constant looming fear that artificial intelligence is going to take his job. And hey, that salary isn't just a random guess. It's based on an actual survey of over 70,000 bachelor's degree grads. Then, consider Kai. Kai actually got kicked out of school. He didn't have a structured path, which literally forced him to think independently. His reward? Over $15,000 a month, total geographical freedom, zero debt, and instead of fearing AI, he leverages it to scale his income. The source calls Kai a digital architect, someone who earns 3 times more than people who are 10 times more qualified on paper. Wild, right? So, let's get into Section 1, the digital architect mindset, relearning how to earn. Guys like Kai are building true wealth by paying attention where the world is actually going, rather than just obsessing over academic validation. This brings us to a massive, massive flaw in our education system. Consider these numbers. 98% of 5-year-olds test at genius levels for divergent thinking. That's the ability to come up with highly original, out-of-the-box ideas. But by adulthood, that number plummets to just 2%. Yep, 2%. 18 years of standardized testing clearly takes a toll on us. I mean, think about it. If you're bad at math, they force you into extra math tutoring. If you hate public speaking, they make you do it anyway. The system literally forces us to focus entirely on fixing our weaknesses, completely ignoring what we're naturally gifted at. Which leads us to Section 2, discovering your natural talent, talent maxing. Instead of obsessing over fixing your weaknesses, this framework says we need to focus on identifying our innate strengths. Basically, you make a promise to only work in areas where you have a clear, unfair advantage. The source outlines 4 main categories on this talent tree. Think about which archetype best describes you. Are you the organizer, the one who brings structure to chaos and keeps everything running smoothly? Or maybe you're the analyst, spotting patterns and figuring out the mechanics of exactly what works. You could be the communicator, naturally persuasive and great at getting people to buy into your ideas. Or are you the creative, connecting the dots that everyone else misses? The whole point here is that your path to making $10,000 a month relies on leaning heavily into one of these specific strengths. Moving on to Section 3, choosing a profitable service. The 3 golden rules. Once you actually know your talent, you need a vehicle to generate income. And to do that successfully online, you absolutely must follow these non-negotiable rules. If you want to hit that $10,000 mark, any digital service you offer has to solve at least one of these 3 primary problems for a business owner. It's simple. You either make a business more money, you save a business time, or you save a business money. That's it. If your service doesn't directly tie in to one of those 3 outcomes, you are going to forever struggle to charge premium prices. Let's break down the top 5 online vehicles you can jump into right now. Notice how each one connects a service to one of those golden rules and to a specific talent type. Brand identity is perfect for the creative, right? It lets a business charge higher prices based on perception. AI automation saves time and money by cutting out manual admin work, an absolute goldmine for the analyst. Deal-making makes money through sponsorships, which is just tailor-made for the communicator. Video editing grows audiences for the creative or analyst, and funnel creation turns existing traffic into straight cash for organizers and analysts. The specific service honestly doesn't matter too much, as long as it aligns perfectly with your natural talent and hits those golden rules. Okay, Section 4, the skill maxing loop. Learn and earn simultaneously. You know, the biggest lie we're told as young people is that learning has to happen before earning. We sit in classrooms for 18 years learning theory without doing it. But to build real wealth quickly, you actually have to do both at the exact same time. Let's walk through what the source calls the skill maxing loop. This is a 5-step cyclical framework designed to literally force you out of analysis paralysis and into the real world. This is exactly how you build competency and cash flow simultaneously. Every single time you run through these 5 steps, your service becomes vastly more valuable. Step 1. Define. You've got to stop overcomplicating things. Look, you can't be a billionaire media mogul before you've signed your very first client. You need to strip those big ambitions down to one clear, highly deliverable service. So not, I am a full-stack media conglomerate. Just something simple like, I edit videos for businesses. Keep it stupidly simple so you can actually just get started. Then we hit steps 2 and 3, sell and deliver. The quote here really hits the nail on the head. Trust me, son, there is no better teacher than the real world. You absolutely have to embrace rejection. You can't just sit around in your room trying to perfect your offer in a vacuum. Get out there and sell it before you even feel ready. Sure, 99% of businesses might say no, but every single rejection is just data. And when someone finally says yes, well, now you're forced to deliver. Actual, real-world financial pressure is the ultimate catalyst. It forces you to pay attention, learn faster, and fix your mistakes way quicker than any classroom ever could. All right, once you've successfully delivered your service a few times, you hit step 4, fix. This is where you zoom out and look for repetitive patterns or bottlenecks in your workflow. If some boring admin task or a bit of research is taking you hours, that's a bottleneck. Today, you can just leverage AI tools to remove those inefficiencies entirely, which lets you deliver way faster and seriously increase your profit margins. And finally, step 5. Systemize. Look, being scrappy totally works in the beginning, but missing deadlines or losing track of your invoices, that is the fastest way to lose repeat business. Reliability almost always beats raw talent. The source highlights using business management software, like Odoo for example, to handle all the boring but absolutely critical stuff. We're talking automating your invoices, tracking late payments, keeping client communication in one single place. Systemizing makes you a true professional. And professionals are the ones who get paid. Now for section 5, positioning for premium prices, the shift in value. This is where the magic really happens. You can actually do the exact same physical work as someone else, to the exact same standard, but earn 10 times more simply by changing how you position your value to the client. Think about it. A freelancer sounds like a cheap commodity competing entirely on price. If you just say, I design logos, you're instantly competing with millions of people on the internet who can also draw a logo for $50. But a digital architect? They speak the language of outcomes. They say, I increase perceived value so you can attract better customers and charge more. You are doing the exact same design work, but you've instantly transformed yourself from a basic operational cost into a highly valuable financial investment. We see the exact same thing with web design. By shifting the conversation completely away from the technical feature you provide, like saying, I build landing pages, and focusing entirely on the financial result it generates for the client, like I turn your existing traffic into paying customers, you totally justify charging premium rates. You have to stop talking about what you do and start talking about what it does for them. Which brings us to section 6, scaling past 10,000, brand maxing. Hitting $10,000 a month is a fantastic milestone, and that loop will get you there. But scaling to $20,000, $50,000, or $100,000 requires a completely different mechanism to avoid plateauing. Just think about how the biggest players actually scale. Take Casey Neistat. Back in 2016, he sold his tech company Beame to CNN for a reported $25 million. Now, CNN didn't really want the app. There was no clear plan for the software itself. What they were actually buying was Casey's massive personal brand and his audience. This just proves that building a highly visible personal brand is literally the ultimate business asset. It makes you exponentially more valuable than anyone else out there offering the exact same service in the shadows. But hey, you don't need millions of subscribers to leverage this. The concept of brand maxing fundamentally just means cleaning up your digital storefront. Instead of blasting out hundreds of ignored cold messages from a profile that looks like a spam bot, you need to curate your social media. When a potential client clicks on your profile, it should instantly and professionally communicate exactly who you are, what specific outcome you provide, and why you are for sure the absolute best choice. Establishing that immediate authority is exactly how you break right past that $10,000 ceiling. So I want to leave you with this final thought to consider as you step away from this explainer and look toward your own financial freedom. We've clearly seen that the old rules, trading good grades for a safe, high-paying salary, are largely broken. So the question is, will you stay on that traditional path, constantly struggling to fix your natural weaknesses just to fit in, or will you use the skill-maxing loop, embrace your natural talents, and build your own empire as a digital architect? The blueprint is right here. The choice is yours.